2 degrees, 4 times the width of the full moon. That is how far Spica has drifted from where Timocharis pinned it 150 years earlier. Hipparchus recalculates. The arithmetic holds. Either every Greek astronomer before him measured wrong, or the entire sky is moving. Every star in the catalogue has slid eastward along the sun's path. Not one star. All of them. The heavens the Babylonians and the Greeks called fixed are drifting 1 degree every 72 years, and the sky maps carved into their temple ceilings are already wrong. Hold on to that 2-degree gap. It does not close. It widens degree by degree until it swallows an entire sign, and the men measuring the sky will have to decide what to do about it. Around 1000 BC, a catalogue called Mol Apin pressed the real sky into clay. 66 constellations, rising dates, uneven, sprawling, inconvenient shapes that refused to divide into equal parts. Babylonian scribes near the end of the 5th century BC took the sun's annual path across the sky and sliced it into 12 equal wedges of 30 degrees each, 12 schematic months, 30 days apiece. The scribes cut the ecliptic into 12 equal 30-degree wedges. The surviving tablets carry no date, so scholars work backward from the numbers and land somewhere between 409 and 398 BC. A decade-wide window, not a single afternoon. 12 times 30 gives a clean 360. They did anchor the scheme to real stars, pinning the wedges to bright markers along the sun's path and leaning on the older catalogues. The grid came first. The stars were fitted to it. Most slices took animal names, so the Greeks called the belt Zodiacos Kyklos, the cycle of animals. The stars underneath never fit the grid. The scribes counted anyway. Jupiter stops in the sky, turns and drifts backward. And by 300 BC, Babylon's temple scribes predicted that reversal without once asking what caused it. No spheres. Columns of numbers on wet clay. Their tablet spaced Jupiter's backward turns 30 degrees apart across its slow zone, 36 degrees across its fast one. Venus resets after 5 cycles in 8 years. Mars closes its ledger at 22 cycles, 47 years, and starts again. One version demands Saturn take 57 reversals and 59 years to come back around. Another scribe's tablet sets a different count entirely. Rival versions of each planet's theory survive on the clay. Babylon's own experts disagreed, and the Greeks would demand a reason why. Eudoxus of Cnidus answered Babylon's clay columns with geometry. Nested spheres sharing one center, each turning at uniform speed around a motionless Earth. Aristotle stacked the count to roughly 55. The machine was elegant, and it broke against the sky. Spheres centered on Earth hold every planet at a fixed distance. So Mars can never brighten as it loops backward. Mars brightens. Worse, the values Eudoxus assigned produce no retrograde at all for Mars or Venus. Callippus bolted on 7 more spheres. Babylon predicted without explaining. Greece explained without predicting. Neither had checked the 12 slices against the constellations they were named for. Ophiuchus stands with both feet on the sun's road, gripping a serpent, and the Zodiac pretends he isn't there. He is one of 13 constellations the ecliptic actually crosses. The sign's number 12. The reason is arithmetic, not observation. 12 divides cleanly into 360 degrees. 13 does not, and the real constellations refuse the grid entirely. Their sizes were never carved to match. Virgo sprawls across a vast stretch of the sun's path. Cancer and Aries barely occupy a fraction of it. Almost all of them took the numbers. Clean arithmetic over ragged sky. 30 degrees apiece, computed, tabulated wrong. The stars stayed where they were, and the math walked away from them. Then, around 129 BC, one man on a rooftop in Alexandria measured Spica against an old Babylonian record and found the numbers themselves were sliding. Hipparchus did not find a moving star, he found a moving 0 point. The equinox, the mark where the sun crosses the celestial equator, was sliding westward along the ecliptic, dragging every measurement with it. His estimate not less than 1 degree per century. Cautious and low. The drift runs 1 degree every 71.6 years, a full circuit of the sky in 25,172 years. A whole human life registers less than a degree. He caught it only because Greek and Babylonian records stacked 150 years deep. Nobody alive could feel the sky move. The records did. Alexandria, around 150 AD. Claudius Ptolemy compiles the Almagest, 1,022 stars fixed into 48 constellations, the most complete sky map the ancient world produces. He has read Hipparchus. He copies the Greeks' measurements into his tables and builds on them. So he makes a choice. He anchors the zodiac not to the stars but to the vernal equinox itself and declares that point the first degree of Aries. The turn of the seasons becomes the origin. The constellations become decoration. The stars keep sliding east. The signs stay bolted to the calendar. Ptolemy does not overlook the drift. He writes it into the system on purpose, and every sky chart copied from the Almagest for the next 1,200 years inherits a gap that widens every single year. Indian astronomers took the opposite road. Their sidereal system pinned the signs to the actual background stars and corrected for the drift instead of ignoring it. They gave that correction a name. The Ayanamsa, from Sanskrit. Ayana, movement, and Amsha, component. A measured number you subtract before you read the sky at all, and no two schools settled on the same number. The Lahiri Ayanamsha, adopted as India's official standard, fixes that gap near 24 degrees today. Sri Yukteswar's rival system sets it closer to 23. Two rigorous traditions working from overlapping observations ended up nearly a full sign apart. A tropical Aries becomes a sidereal Pisces. Neither side miscalculated, they disagreed about what a sky map is for. Nothing in the sky moved. Not one star slid east along the ecliptic. Earth spins, tilted 23.4 degrees off vertical, and that spin flings mass outward at the middle. The planet bulges wider across the equator than it stands from pole to pole. The sun and the moon pull on that bulge. A perfect sphere would ignore them. This one cannot, so the axis refuses to fall over and swing sideways instead, tracing a slow cone against the stars, the same motion a leaning top makes before it drops. Babylon, Greece, Alexandria, India. Every one of them measured the drift correctly. They were all reading the same moving platform, and none of them could feel it turning. The catalogues were never wrong. The ground under the instruments was. The gap never closed. It widens 50.3 arcseconds every year, so a birthday-stamped Aries now parks the sun in Pisces, one full sign behind Ptolemy's frozen chart. Every observatory corrects for precession before a telescope moves, and the same tilting axis paces Earth's ice ages. On Mauna Kea, the pointing software subtracts Hipparchus's 2 degrees before the dome shutters ever crack open.